Hello, folks. You're listening to BuskerBroadcast, and this is Abby the Spoon Lady, and we've got Blue Fox with us now. He has made it his way over here, and he's going to play for us some tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Well, my name is Blue Fox, and blues is my specialty. I'm from...
I got you.
Thank you, Abby. From Montpelier, Vermont.
Awesome.
And,
Yeah, these microphones don't cooperate very much. These microphones don't like to stand.
they roll around a little bit. We'll switch it, yeah. The one that wants to go low, let it go low.
There we go. So, how long have you been busking?
I've been busking on and off for 33 years.
Awesome. Where was your first city that you played music in?
In Key West, Florida.
Key West. That was your first busk was in Key West?
Yes, it was.
Do you remember your first busk?
I do. I remember the absolute first time, and I wouldn't say that it was my best time or, I went out by myself. And I tried to play it, but I didn't really try to sing too much. I had a kazoo and a guitar I had just gotten, a few tunes, and I kind of went and tested the waters and played. And I'm not sure if I did it again by myself. I know after that I went out with a flute player named Robert O, and he taught me to play guitar for the songs the way he took to back him up on the flute. And then later on went out with a fellow, John Sullivan, and he kind of did the same thing, sort of taught me to play rhythm guitar for his lead guitar.
It sounds like busking has taught you a lot.
I learned how to play busking for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's awesome, and that's what this show is about, pretty much, is to show the importance of it and what comes out of busking, and I think it's really, really awesome that WPVM has given us this extra outlet to highlight people, and I'm really, really stoked about it, really.
Yeah, me too. I just like the way Asheville embraces it all around.
It seems like the majority of the business owners are really, really receptive towards buskers, and it seems like there's an overall just understanding that it draws a good portion of the tourism, and that is something that kind of identifies the area. I really, really enjoy it every time I come here, and every time I'm here. Kind of sucks me in.
Oh, I love it. I love all the performers, not just the musicians.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. You want to play us a few?
Sure. All right, just one more string to go.
I think most of the buskers, and I say most, know the tuning song.
Yep. I'm just a poor boy, I'm a long way from my home. I'm just a poor boy, I'm a long way from my home. Mom's in my pockets, it's buried to my bones. Poor boy, long from my home. I say, ooh, I'm a long way from my home. Ooh, I'm a long way from my home. Ooh, I'm a long way from my home. Poor boy, long way from my home. I went down south, I wound up in the jail. I went down south, I wound up in the jail. I went down south, I wound up in the jail. Poor boy, long way from my home.
And what's that one called?
Poor Boy.
Poor Boy. Where do you learn your songs, and what draws inspiration for you?
Usually a variety of things. Sometimes I learn them from somebody showed me how to play a cool guitar part, and it's like, well, I really like that. I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the case in that song. I learned it from Harlem Slim. He didn't even tell me it was a Bucka White song. He did it all as an instrumental, actually, on that one. And I couldn't really do all the parts that he did. But I did another song called Poor Boy that I kind of got from Howlin' Wolf. And one night, like late at night, sitting around, I just thought to myself, I wonder if the words from the other song would fit that song. So I just did it. It was like falling off a log, first try. It worked real easy. And then a year or two later, I was watching some YouTube, and I saw Bucka White playing that song, singing those words. And I was like, wow.
Oh, how weird is that?
So it just brought it right around full circle. And I was like, oh. The words weren't exact, but it was more or less the same.
Yeah, well, you still got the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And Bucka White didn't have that finger picking sort of part, but it was the same chord progression.
Yeah.
So that's where that one came from. Other ones just call me. You know, like the song says, you, over here, I'm over here, sing me. And sometimes it works great, just piece of cake. I get it right away. And other times it's kind of, I either got to work for it, or it's, you know, it's kind of like, oh, it's a really good song, but it's not really quite right for me. But I get them from friends. I have a song written by a friend of mine that he sang in a band with him, and every time I heard him sing it, I was like, that song's for me. I should sing that song. And when I told him I wanted to sing it, he was delighted.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So you've got some recordings. How do folks get a hold of your recordings?
Well, I'm actually low on. I'm all out of copies of my last 2 CDs.
Physical copies?
Yes.
Well, that's good and bad at the same time.
Yes.
Right?
My last CD, I Like It When I Dream That I'm Flying, is available on CD Baby and Amazon.com and about 10 more things like that.
Okay.
For download, and they even do have like a few physical copies there.
And what's the name of that CD again?
I Like It When I Dream That I'm Flying.
Okay, and that's Blue Fox. If you're interested in trying to find and look up and get to know. But you're out and about busking a lot, so we can catch you otherwise.
You can.
I see you playing at Pack Square a lot. Is that one of your favorite spots? Or
I like that spot.
Yeah.
You know, I like to have a wall behind me. Makes a big difference on the sound.
Yeah, with me and the spoons, I almost need it.
But there's restaurants right in front of me at that spot, so it really makes it good because you got the people in the restaurants and you've got the people passing by as well.
Yeah, it makes it more like a show at that point. Right?
It does.
Right. What would you say the most interesting tip you have ever gotten was?
Well, let me see. I'm a little bit at a loss. I've gotten 1 or 2 that I'm just not even going to mention. And I remember a really fun one when I was with 2 Hippies and an Armenian in Boston. That was the name of our little band. And we were playing down at Copley Square, and it was a hot summer day. And a guy was crumpling up $20 bills from above me and throwing them down on me. I was playing, with the bass player and the drummer, and he yelled over to the bass player because I was jumping around playing electric guitar and sweating like crazy. And he threw down 3 or 4 20s, and he said to the bass player, "Buy him a Coke." Okay. Just looking like I needed something to drink. Buy him a Coke.
Oh, goodness.
Oh. I'm not sure. When I played out west in California in my earlier days, my inside of my case looked like this. A standard day would be 3 or 4 food stamps, a pineapple, a sandwich, a few cigarettes, some flowers, like that, and $3-4, mostly change.
Yesterday, I was given a plant roots and all, and a painting.
Oh. Well, in San Francisco, a woman several times brought me a bag of food, Chinese food.
Ooh,
I played up on Grant Street there, right in that neighborhood where those restaurants were, and that happened a couple of times. It was just,
Yeah.
right in the white paper bag, plunked it right down in the case.
I like Chinese food a lot. Let's see. What else? What other good stuff do we got here? I mean, what's your whole idea about busking in Asheville? Do you feel like this is one of the better cities in the country for busking? 'Cause I know you've been down in New Orleans and you talked about busking up in Burlington.
Yep.
What do you, in comparison?
I think Asheville is one of the best places for busking. I think a lot of places are good, and you wouldn't know it unless you got the right time and right place. You could pass through an area and think, oh, well, that sucked. And in fact, it didn't. You just weren't at the right spot at the right time.
Right. That's completely true.
And I think that's true of Burlington, Vermont, and Montpelier, Vermont, which I've played in both of those. And pretty much everywhere I've been. And I struggle because it's not the same everywhere. It's a little different. So you kind of go trial and error a few times. You go out a few days, and it's like, oh, this didn't work. You try something else. That didn't work. And it took me a few weeks to figure out Asheville. And a little bit longer than that for New Orleans.
New Orleans, I still don't get it. And I about have a panic attack every winter with everybody asking me to come on down there. Just even thinking about it kind of makes my heart race a little bit.
Well, I felt that way a little bit because I went there early last fall and I wasn't that crazy about it. And my daughter's living there, and I was traveling around, and she said, well, at least just come by for another visit, before the winter's over. So I didn't really think that I would stay for 2 months. I thought I was just going to go in for a week.
Right.
And maybe go somewhere else and maybe come back for another week or something. But I got a little bit of a taste for it. For me, it was a little bit of an acquired taste. Wasn't all that obvious. But I could see it. I met some musicians. You definitely need some friends around there. Really helps.
Yeah, last time I went down there, I was playing old time music with a feller named Matt Kinman, and there was this weird, surreal moment where I was walking down Royal Street, and there was Big Nasty Jazz Band from here on one corner, and then there was 13 Strings and a $2 bill from here on another corner, and then I think up the street, it was just straight Asheville going all the way down Royal Street. And I was just kind of giggling to myself about what it must be like for tourists that are from here going to New Orleans, and then suddenly it's all the same people.
Well, there's been, a week hasn't gone by since I've been up here. I've been here about 6 weeks now, I think, from New Orleans, or 4 weeks, I guess, that someone hasn't said, didn't I see you about a month ago in New Orleans?
Yeah.
I know one friend of mine said that when I told him I was coming to Asheville up in Montpelier, he said, there's a lot of people in Asheville from around here. It's kind of like a wormhole from Montpelier to Asheville.
Yeah.
And I would say that is true, and even more so from Asheville to New Orleans.
Yeah, there's definitely a special relationship when it comes to performers, I think. And I feel like a lot of that's the reason why it's important to let travelers come through and be able to play music and to not permit that part of it, because, and that would squish a lot of that traveling and a lot of that free flow music.
And the music that comes in when it's hot and really good is going to just be, it's a constant shot in the arm to Asheville's busking scene.
Yep. You want to play us another?
Sure.
Yeah.
This is one I mentioned that called to me. Michael Murdoch, my friend of mine in Montpelier, wrote this one. It's on one of my CDs. I recorded it a while back. It actually got put on the Best of the Green Mountain Blues. They made some CDs up there for a Camp to Come to for kids with cancer. So it was all the money was raised for that. And I'm on they have 4 of those albums out, and I'm on all 4 of them. The last one, though, sold in Greece for 6 months straight in the top 20, for however that could possibly happen. And they sent my song into Car Talk. This one I'm about to play. So I did get a call one day and said, we just heard you on Car Talk. Anyway, Willie Bought a T-Bird, Michael Murdoch's song. Willie bought a T-Bird, it ain't no lie. Get behind the wheel and he loved to fly right on. And he loved to sing. Ain't no lie, I really like shit that thing. Willie and Millie got married that fall. Finally found a girl who loved the ball rock on. And she loved to sing. Ain't no secret, Millie like shit that thing. Riding downtown here, raising sand. Yelling out the window, baby, hear my man like a yo-yo. And I'm a string. Mama sure knows how to make that yo-yo sing. Pack it all up and moving to the city. Had to find out that the city was a pity, so to move on down the line. Willie back home now says that I feel that fine. Having some kids like they're out of style. 5 or 6, and baby, after a while, rock on. And they love to sing. Hold them toes, really gotta shoot that thing. So shake it. Willie bought a T-Bird, it ain't no lie. Get behind the wheel and he loved to fly. Rock on, and he loved to sing. Ain't no lie now, really like shit that thing. Willie and Millie, they finally passed on. The preacher said that they had to move on. Rock on, and he loved to sing. Oh, God's truth, really gotta shit that thing. So shake it. Willie bought a T-Bird, it ain't no lie. Get behind the wheel and he loved to fly. Rock on, and he loved to sing. Ain't no lie now, really like shit that thing. Ain't no lie now, really like shit that thing. Ain't no lie now, really like shit that thing.
That's awesome. And what's the title of that one?
Willie Bought a T-Bird.
Willie Bought a T-Bird.
And we'll just say T-Bird when we were on stage playing it. You go, T-Bird. And that would be our song. He was a very prolific. He wrote songs all the time. That's the only one I chose to do, but he did write a lot of songs.
I like that song. Can I ask you, which, by the way, you are listening to WPVM 103.7 FM in Asheville. Listen to us online at WPVMFM.org. I'm Abby the Spoon Lady, and this is Blue Fox, and we're on here with BuskerBroadcast in downtown Asheville, talking about busking stuff and street performance and playing some music. So, do you have any good stories to tell about busking, or like a favorite story, or a favorite busker you've met?
Boy, let me think. I do, but you
Put you on the spot?
Yeah, I'm freezing up. I've been told I have a lot of stories to tell. I'm not even sure. And I got to try to think of what's appropriate to tell.
I know I've had a few inappropriate busking incidences happen. Especially in cities like here, the noise ordinance prevents us from playing past 10 o'clock. But in the cities where you can play past 10 o'clock, where it gets drunk outside, it gets pretty obnoxious sometimes.
I have a really good busker story, an Asheville busker story.
Oh, yeah?
And a lot of people saw this. I'm going to use a little guitar in the story, too.
All right.
I love this tuning. I just discovered this over the winter. A C tuning. It's not really commonly used, but it's lower and higher. Anyway, I was out there playing at Pack Square last, say, September. And sometimes I put a box in my case, the one that some of my CDs came in, it would hold like 25 CDs because the money blows out of the case.
Yeah.
So I just put the box in the case. So I'm playing away, I'm having a good night. And the little box is looking kind of full. I even took a little handful off the top of it because I thought it was getting full, And I'm playing away, and the box was a little bit to my right where I don't really see it. And it did occur to me that that wasn't really smart, but I'm a creature of habit, and I was like, man, but I had a lot of success with that box to the right. I don't want to put it to the left, even though what difference does it make?
Creature of habit.
For some reason, I'm thinking, oh, no, I don't want to change a working formula. But it did occur to me that I can't see the box a lot of the time that I'm playing. So I'm playing away, and I see this blur go by me, this guy run by. So I look to the left, and I see two guys go right around that corner going down the hill, like down Merriman. And I wonder, what the heck was that? And I look over at the case where the box was, and the box is gone. It's like, oh, no. So I was kind of beside myself and a little bit foolish, but I put my guitar down on my stool and went to look down where the corner where they had run to. And I could see dollar bills on the ground. There's one or two every 10 feet. And the guys were way down the street, and there was a trail of money going down the street. And I was okay. For some reason, you know what I mean? And a whole lot of people were watching. Every restaurant was full. It was one of those nights, nice, a really beautiful, warm night. And I just was kind of stomped my foot and said, swore a little bit, but pretty minimally.
Given.
Yeah. And just then, standing there, kind of between my gear and the corner, somebody came up to me with the box. And it had like $1 left in it. And then 3 or 4 people, or 5 even, maybe more, each came up with $1 or $2 each, or 3 or 4, whatever they found. They were bringing the money that was found on the ground. Yeah. That went trailed down the street. And then a guy comes back and he says, I'm sorry, man, I almost got him. So what had happened was, what I saw was the guy chasing the guy. Or I would have kept on playing. If the guy listening to me hadn't chased the guy, I wouldn't even have noticed. Would have been like 2 songs later, I'd have known the box was gone. It was the guy chasing the guy that I saw that got my attention. The guy that took it, I didn't even see him. And so he came by and told me that he tried to catch him, but he couldn't catch the guy. And just then, people came out of the restaurants and just basically filled the box up.
Yeah.
Except with bills with bigger denominations that were probably in there to begin with.
Nobody wants to watch somebody have a bad night.
No, and everybody was so nice. They filled the box up. Then there must have been 5 or 6 standing around me that insisted, please, put that in your pocket now. Don't leave it in the box. And then for the next half an hour or so, everybody that tipped me made sure I took it out of the box and put it in my pocket. They said, don't leave this in the box. And they'd come by and throw in like $5 and say, don't leave this in the box, put it in your pocket.
Oh, goodness.
So it was an amazing thing because somebody stole that box, and then the people came out and refilled it up. Like it was such extreme feelings of things, and it all happened in about 2 minutes. Where the box got stolen and then filled up again, and I felt the loss. Then I felt all this gratitude for everything, and then when I sat down to play, people not only clapped, but they cheered. In the 3 restaurants, everybody cheered. So I was just, I think they might have thought I might go home after that, but I don't know. But I was just like, wow, this was quite an experience.
I'm glad it worked out so well. That's good to hear, when you hear stories about people teaming up to help out somebody else and, to lift somebody up like that. That's really awesome.
It definitely put Asheville way up in my book as far as like, wow. That was something else.
Have you ever played music in Denver or Boulder?
I have played in Boulder.
In Boulder? What were your thoughts on Boulder?
I liked Boulder, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think that was like the spring I was 23.
Well, I guarantee it's much different now. Pearl Street Mall is got its own kind of little momentum to it, I guess. They have a lot of rules there that we don't have here, and vice versa.
As I remember it, the mall in Boulder reminded me of the mall in Burlington.
Yeah, that's a comparison I hear a lot. Like, really, really often. Maybe we should play another couple songs.
All right.
Do you have a favorite song to play?
I don't know. I have a song I always start with, but I don't necessarily feel I have to start with it unless I'm playing out on the streets, and for some reason I think it's like my jump starter song. But I'm not tuned for it, but I will play it after this one. I just happen to be in this C tuning. And I discovered this recently and really liked some of the possibilities. I'm going to try to figure out some more songs in this tuning because I'm really liking it. And the reason it's in this tuning now is because that's what I finished out the night with on Saturday. And
What's that one called?
it's called the New Minglewood Blues. It's actually a song I've borrowed and changed around a little bit from the Grateful Dead. There's a little bit of, I discovered that tuning and then thought, wow, I really like that. What song could I possibly do with this?
The only stringed instrument I play is actually a mountain dulcimer. And I get like that with the dulcimer, where I find a specific tuning and I just sit there and try to figure out all the songs I can in that tuning.
I got a couple more that are going to come out, but they're not ready yet.
played with a consistent band before?
Yep. I have as well as playing in the streets, and I have done it, but there's been a few years in the last 25 years that I didn't go out and play in the streets at all, and I just did bar gigs and restaurants and stuff.
Which do you prefer? Busking or bar?
Well, I'd say, just to some degree, more consistently, busking has more potential. But
I feel the same way.
Either one could work. Magic can happen almost anytime, anywhere. And that's kind of why busking has more potential, because you got people coming from more places, more possibilities, just who might be there. And it's the people that are going to make the magic, with the music and everything. And but I have a band of the Rockin' Daddies, Blue Fox and the Rockin' Daddies, and it's more like an electric blues band. I haven't done it in a while. I haven't been in Vermont for almost a year. But I do have some gigs with them coming up in Vermont in July and June.
So you're going to be heading on to Vermont for part of the summer. Are you going to be back after that in the fall? Or?
I am, and I'm looking for a place to live for August 1st.
All right, everybody. Blue Fox needs a room for August 1st. You can get a hold of us if you have a room for him at buskerbroadcast@gmail.com. You can also send us your MP3s, Buskers. You can also, I am Abby the Spoon Lady. If you are a busker and you see me out busking and you have a CD, just look me in the eye and wave the CD in front of me and drop it in the case, and I will bring it back here and listen to it. Maybe we can get you on the air. So just let me know. But yeah, this is definitely a choice town, I believe, for street performance. And I feel like, the whole scene's kind of having some growing pains, but I feel like it'll work out, and that everything is really, really looking up as far as, all the talks with the city and everything else that's been going on with us. I feel optimistic, at least.
I do too. I think everything's really positive. I thought that, at that meeting a week ago, I thought that all went well. I think in the few moments of it that didn't seem to go too well, everybody there knew that was just a moment, and it wasn't really a reflection on the situation that we had.
Those people exist. It is what it is. Everybody's got a very strong opinion about it. And, it either goes one way or the other. I don't hardly see anybody quite in the middle. Either you really love the busking scene or you just don't.
Well,
but it seems like everybody's just so supportive. And I just get the kindest emails all the time.
I get a lot of encouragement, for sure, to be here, and to stay.
Yeah.
And,
to be a permanent fixture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, encouragement's real important.
Now, do you do festivals too?
I do anything that comes my way.
You just kind of poke around and see what hits you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
I do better when I'm not really trying so hard for it. That's why I kind of like having the busking thing, because then people just come up and are asking me. The gigs I have in Vermont are all things that people called me for.
Yeah.
I sometimes really work hard on booking things and stuff, and I have had a few festivals. It was really a while ago that we did every year. Brookfield Blues and Funk Festival and Pond Stock and some brew beer festivals and things. And those were really good times.
Yes, I like festivals. Which one are you going to play for us now?
This is my Jumpstart tune that I start out with. yeah. What you want me now, baby, what you want me to do. You got me running, you got me hiding. You got me running, hiding, high, running any way you want, any road. Yeah, oh yeah. What you want me now, baby, what you want me to do. I'm going up, down, down, up any way you want, any road. Yeah, oh yeah. What you want me now, baby, what you want me to You got me hiding. You got me running, hiding, high, running any way you want, any road. Yeah, oh yeah. What you want me now, oh baby, what you want me to do. I'm talking to you, baby. That's right. I'm going down. I'm going up, down, down, up any way you want, any road. Yeah, oh yeah. What you want me now, baby, what you want me to do. All right.
So when are you going to be back out playing?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow? So you come out during the week once in a while?
I do.
I don't come out too often during the week. I end up being busy over here and doing other stuff, I guess.
Well, you know, I can't do it with singing and everything. I kind of got to pace myself.
Yeah.
Can't do it all day or anything like that, or I'll just burn myself right out in my voice and stuff. So, and I got to play a certain amount basically every day just to kind of keep on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always get really, really, really sore every spring, you know, because I'll rest all winter and then I'll go back at it like I've been going at it all winter, but I haven't. And I'll walk around feeling like I just pulled my arms and get real sore. It's a lot of work, especially sitting in the sun if it's one of those days. It is, and dealing with personalities too. You get some winners.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I've heard it all, even right here.
Yep. Yeah. Asheville's definitely got its choice of characters and local wildlife. Myself included amongst them. I guess I am in good company.
Both. Choice characters and local wildlife.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Y'all listening to Busker Broadcast. I am Abby the Spoon Lady, and we've got Blue Fox here. And we've been playing some tunes. We have about 8 minutes left on our clock. Do you think you want to play one more, or?
Yeah.
Cool. I think we got time. time for one more. Might as well
Okay.
squeeze one in there.
I'll do the title track from my most recent CD. I like it when I dream that I'm flying, which I really do. I just absolutely.
What do you think that your biggest challenges are as being a busker?
It's really important to keep focused on playing good music. And I don't know if that is the biggest challenge, but on a hard day, that's what the challenge is. You know, if for whatever reason something has knocked me from my focus,
Right.
which does happen. Things come up and people come up, and you even have sometimes people coming right up. You know, there's a challenge right there. When you have a crowd and you have it happening, and somebody comes up and I don't really know what they're thinking, but it appears to me that they're trying to break up what I'm doing.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I do.
You know, I had one the other day where the fellow wanted the microphone. And I had to tell him I was doing a show and I wasn't going to give him the microphone a few times before he gave it up. And I was very lucky on that time because the crowd did not leave me.
Yeah. That sounds like...
I had it's a standard challenge. I had one, and this is kind of one of my busking stories. It's a good one. I just found out I was going to be a father, and I was in Burlington, Vermont. So this is 20-something years ago. My daughter's 23. I didn't have a job, and I did think, kind of like I do now, you know, I just took out a student loan for my son, that, you know, I got to bump this busking thing up a little bit. I need a little more money than what I've been living off of. So I was out there trying to really focus, and I had a nice little crowd, and I mean little. I had probably 8 people, you know, sitting around listening, but I was doing good. And 3 guys walked up. One of them came right up close to me, and he said, "Play some Johnny Cash, asshole." And he looked to the other people, and he pointed to me, and he says, "This guy sucks." And then he looked back again, and he said more things like the other 2 things. And I thought, oh, no, what am I going to do? It's not like this is the first time this has ever happened. And I have handled this poorly, and I've handled this well. I need to handle it well right now.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, what do I say? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say? So then I just thought the truth. So I said, you know, folks, I'm going to tell you the situation here. This is what's going on. I'm just some average Joe out here trying to make a living. And this guy's coming along, and he's trying to take that away from me. And I got to think of something clever to say that'll get rid of him and not get rid of you.
And that worked?
That worked.
There you go. Just be matter of fact about
He was on his way out, and everybody got it. And I was like, oh. Now that's partially luck and partially having a good frame of mind, not letting something rattle you.
What's up?
I see people and they don't see me. I hear people and they don't hear me. I see people and they don't see me. It's how I know I'm in a dream, in a flying dream. That's right, baby, in a flying dream. And I like it when I dream that I'm flying. Like it when I dream that I'm flying, flying, baby, oh so high. And I like it when I dream that I'm flying way up in the sky. Like it when I dream that I'm flying, flying, baby, oh so high. And I like it when I dream that I'm flying. I do.
All right, folks. You're listening to Busker Broadcast, and this has been Blue Fox, and I'm Abby the Spoon Lady, and you can get a hold of us on the web, buskerbroadcast@gmail.com, and we have a Facebook page. You have anything else you'd like to say before we sign off?
Thank you, Abby the Spoon Lady.
Sure, thanks. Thanks,
And
Blue,
thank
for
you,
coming in.
Asheville.
I really appreciate it. So again, buskers, send in your MP3s. Get a hold of us. And folks, if you see a busker out there that you think sounds good, tell them to get a hold of us. So you are listening to WPVM 103.7 FM in Asheville. You can listen to us online at WPVMFM.org. Thank you, folks, and thanks for hanging out with us.